upload and whoa! Do you know what just happened? I just uploaded a bunch of documents and instantly got structured data back. Names, dates, key fields, all ready to use. No manual processing, no complex setup, just clean data. Pretty powerful, right? But how does this actually work behind the scene? How do we go from simple upload to structured data that an application can directly use? And more importantly, how can developers build this in Azure? If you are wondering that, you are in the right place. Hi, I'm Sarah Alali, a senior technical trainer at Microsoft specializing in AI, Copilot, and building intelligent and secure applications on Microsoft Azure. I have a PhD in computer science and 12 years teaching training experience. This course covers 12 sessions, where we will dive into core AI concepts in Azure and learn how to turn ideas into real applications using modern tools like Microsoft Foundry. In session number 12, we will cover how to get started with information extraction in Azure. I will show you how to use Azure Content Understanding to extract and structure data from document, audio, and videos. Let's start with a simple question. In the previous session, we learned how to extract field. But how could we do it in Azure? This is where Azure Content Understanding and Foundry Tools comes in. Think of it as the place where everything comes together: OCR, field extraction, and structured output, all in one unified experience. Two ways to get started. When working with Azure Content Understanding, there are two main approaches: pre-built analyzers and custom analyzers. The pre-built analyzers gives you a fast start. These are ready-to-use models designed for common document types like invoices, receipts, and forms. You don't need to train anything. You simply upload the document, run the analyzer, and get structured results. These analyzers already understand how information is typically organized in real-world documents. This is the fastest way to get started. Imagine you upload an invoice. The pre-built analyzer automatically extracts customer name, invoice date, and total amount. No configuration needed. Now, what if your documents are not standard? For example, a company-specific form, or a custom contract, or maybe a specialized report. In this case, you create a custom analyzer. Here's how it works. You define a schema, you provide sample documents, the system learns how to extract your fields, so you start working with it right away. So you may say, I want to extract project name, approval status, and budget. And the analyzer is built around that structure. No matter which approach you choose, the output is always the same idea: structured JSON data. And why JSON matters? Because JSON is easy to store, easy to send to APIs, and easy to integrate with applications. It's already in the format your system expects. So instead of processing documents manually, you can plug the result directly into a database, maybe a workflow, or maybe business applications. Once the analyzer is ready, you can call it easily with the REST API. This means your app sends a document, Azure processes it, and returns structured JSON format. That's how it fits into real applications. Imagine a logistics company recording warehouse security videos. Every day, supervisors need to review footage to answer questions like, when did the delivery arrive? Who handled the package? Were there any delays or issues? Manually watching hours of videos takes time. What if the system could analyze the video and extract that information automatically? That's where Azure Content Understanding in Foundry Tools comes in. Up to now, we have mainly focused on documents, but information extraction is much broader. It's multimodal. That means it works on text, audio, videos, and the goal is always the same: turns raw content into structured, usable data. With Azure Content Understanding in Foundry Tools, you don't learn a new system for each data type. It's the same platform, the same analyzer concepts, and the same structured output. Only the input changes. Using analyzers for audio and videos, just like with document, you have two approaches. Pre-built analyzer, where you can start for common scenarios. For example, a warehouse video can be analyzed to detect key moments, extract spoken content, or identify activity segments. Or maybe an audio recording can automatically produce a transcript, key topics, or summaries. No setup required, just upload and analyze. For more specific use cases, you can create custom analyzers. For example, track specific events like package scan, detect mentions of compliance issue in recorded audio. Maybe extract custom data field from spoken interaction. You define what you want to extract, and the analyzer adapts to your business scenarios. And just like with document, the result is structured JSON output. Now let's do a quick exercise where we will use content understanding in Foundry Tools to extract information from a document. You can also practice this exercise in your own environment by accessing the lab steps in the link that you can see on the screen, or by visiting the AI-901 learning path through the Microsoft Learn platform. Let's go! In this exercise, we're going to focus on Azure Content Understanding that provides a multimodal analysis for documents, audio files, videos, and images to extract information. And in here, we're going to do it in Foundry, so we're going to access it directly from Foundry. So as we said from other sessions, that the project is already created. If you don't have a project created, you can create one. We explained in details in session 2 how to create a project, how to navigate from the this Foundry platform. If you missed that, you can get back to that video and watch it and understand how to do all the steps. Otherwise, here I'm going to directly to the build section to go to the content understanding solution. So I go to model and I'm going to focus on AI services. And in here, top down, so you can see here, we have the different speech services. We do have the translation, the language services. Some of this we already went through them, tried them out, worked with them. And we're going to focus in content understanding. You can see here we do have content understanding read, and content understanding layout. So let's start with the first one, which is content understanding. I'm going to access it in here and look into the playground, what is within it. I can see also to choose the modality like document, audios, and we have also here the playground at the code section. If I select here the content understanding read, for example, I can analyze different documents. To start learning in the playground, I can play with the samples here. So I can select whatever the sample that interests me. For example, I have here the read resume. I can grab it and I can run the analyze. So once I run the analyze here, it's already there. It's already, I have already worked on it in the samples. I can just go through here the information and look at it. So you can see here the result of this analyze, the contents. I see here the name. I can see here the profile information, the experience section here, and all the information that were grabbed from here. For example, here we have the email address, the skills, and so on. And I can see also the result in a JSON format. So I can see here the JSON format of my results, I can also download it and read it. So you can open it, read it in a JSON format here in Visual Studio Code. You can see here all the information in Visual Studio Code in JSON. I can feed directly to my application. I can also go to the code section. So you can see here the code section. So if you select the language, you have Python and C#. So you can see here the explanation of this code, and you can see the different imports I can do. So I do see here the Azure AI Understanding that I'm working with, and the library that I'm working in. I have the Content Understanding client, and I have also the Content Understanding model that is importing the analyze input, analyze result. And I can see here the different methods that I'm doing. So I'm starting with the endpoint, and then grabbing the key, and I can see here the URL file, the analyzer ID, the API version. I can see here the credentials, the clients, and all the rest of how to possibly do this. If I look also here into the Content Understanding layout, you can see also I do have the Content Understanding layout that is showing a document. For example, here we are having a document, and you can see it is collecting all the information. You can see here the document to store and share. It's providing me in the same information in the same table, like similar table here. Even whatever information is checked or not, we can see here the birth certificate was not checked, so it shows it's not checked here. I can see it also as a paragraphs. So I have all the information as paragraphs. I can see here it is as a table. And same here. If I look into the code, so I do have the different import needed and how to call these libraries and how to do connect to the endpoint and work on the code part to get this information. You can also look into other documents. So also here, the document is collecting some informations in, it looks like a finance document. So it's collecting some information on a finance document. You can look into this file also. So similar here, it's grabbing some information. It's getting really the information from the table. And we have here the table. Also from here, you can decide whatever you want to do. The OCR, layout, maybe document field, maybe US tax, maybe legal, maybe identity. So it depends whatever you select, going to follow along whatever you need to work on it. So going to change here the playground configuration. So legal, we have here, for example, contract. You can also put modality, either a document or maybe an audio also. So if I look into this audio, for example, so I can get this information from this audio. So it listens to all this audio, and here's like the transcript of this audio and getting me like the information needed from this audio of a call center, for example, here. Also for the content understanding, so here's we have seen the read and also the layout and all the rest, but you can still also browse for files or upgrade your own files and try to get really the content understanding from your own file. So I can grab here, for example, a document. So I grab here an invoice. I can do an analyze, for example, an OCR read analyze. And see the OCR read analyze get me information from this invoice. I have here Contoso invoice. So I can see from where get the subject. Thank you for your purchase. All the membership fee. So I have all the information. I can see also the result in a JSON format if that's needed. You can see it here. Paragraph, pipelines, etc. Even if you have like things like this, like you need to read an architecture image and you have like some numbers, you need to get them. Also same to same here, you can get that information from our document. And this is really the power of OCR what can do for us to get different information as needed. Coming to the code also, so here, so you can, whatever the task that you can do, so you can come here, grab the code that you can use to include it directly to your application easily. Well, that's it for this demo about content understanding service. I hope that you enjoyed. Let's get back to course. In this session, we discussed how Azure Content Understanding and Foundry Tools enable extracting structured JSON data from documents, audio, and video using pre-built or custom analyzers, allowing seamless integration of unstructured content into business applications. Remember that all these materials is available for free on the Learning Path, and you can find the full Learning Path at the Microsoft Learn platform. This concluded our session. Thank you for joining us for this session. To continue your learning, we encourage you to watch other videos in this course or search out your next favorite topic on Microsoft Learn at aka.ms/learn. Happy learning!